She spat in his face over a parking spot, bold and certain she'd walk away unscathed. Laura Hensley had a history of crossing lines. Convoy said the world would never push back. But this time, the man she targeted wasn't just any HOA, was a federal judge who knew how to let the law speak. What unfolded was a quiet act of accountability that became a stunning moment of justice. Monday mornings pulsed in this city steady, muted, like an engine idling. Cars glided down damp streets. Office workers clutched coffee cups, moving with just enough urgency to seem awake. David Ellison knew this rhythm well. At 7:42 a.m., he left his brick townhouse, locking the door with precision. His suit was charcoal, shirt crisp, tie neat, shoes silent on the sidewalk. His black sedan, freshly detailed, reflected his need for order. Clean car, clear mind. He drove without music, the hum of the road filling the silence. His thoughts organized: the DIA hearing at 9:30, sentencing at noon, and a wire fraud opinion to edit. Routine, clear, just law. At 7:58, he pulled into the Starbucks lot on 5th and Maple, a small brick building with a crowded lot. One narrow space remained near the front. He signaled, eased in, and aligned the wheels carefully. Turning off the ignition, he exhaled, savoring the calm. WYD wasn't rush time, was his luxury. Judges didn't wait or explain. He reached for his briefcase, adjusted his tie in the mirror out of habit, everything in place. Then came a screech, tires tearing the calm like shattered glass. A white SUV swerved in, stopping inches from his bumper, aggressive and fast. WYD didn't move, just watched. The driver's door flew open, and she emerged, blonde hair stiff with spray, oversized sunglasses hiding her face. Her heels struck the pavement hard, each step a declaration: "You're in my way." Laura Hensley walked like someone who'd never doubted her dominance. WYD stepped out slowly, closing his door with care, not defiance. Through his side mirror, he'd seen her approach, her posture radiating entitlement. His instincts, sharpened by years of reading people in court, told him this wasn't about the parking spot, it was about power, a performance needing an audience. He stayed calm, assessing. Laura stopped 3 feet away, arms rigid, shoulders squared. "You stole my spot," she snapped, her voice accusatory, practiced, demanding a reaction. WYD turned slightly, keeping his stance open. "There's another space over there," he said evenly. "I didn't see anyone waiting." He gestured politely, offering a way out. But she wasn't interested in solutions. Her jaw tightened, fingers curling. Something coiled behind her sunglasses, not pain, but outrage at being challenged. Then it happened. She stepped forward and spat not at the ground, but in his face. The wet streak hit above his cheekbone, sliding to his collar. WYD flinched, not from pain but disbelief. His hand rose slowly, stunned. A man in a nearby car gasped. A woman with a latte froze. The lot went silent. Laura, unfazed, grabbed her bag and walked toward Starbucks, no apology, no hesitation, as if nothing had happened. WYD stood still, jaw set, eyes calm. He didn't shout or follow. His hand lowered, fingers touching the moisture like a scientist studying EVYDNK. He wasn't angry, not yet. He was processing, not what she'd done, but why she thought she could. A bystander stared, waiting for his move, but WYD didn't react. Inside, something shifted, not rage, but resolve. Later, he'd learn her name, Laura Hensley. Public records revealed a pattern: harassment complaints, verbal intimidation, all dropped because people walked away. That pattern had shaped her, fueling her belief in consequence-free contempt. But this wasn't yelling. This was assault, public, deliberate, physical. WYD took a handkerchief from his blazer, blotting his cheek methodically, not in anger but to remove something degrading. No outburst, just silence. But inside, he'd decided this wouldn't slide. He'd seen too many justify bad behavior, or in court, heard every excuse. Laura's act wasn't panacea, it was calculated, rooted in a lifetime of walking away unchallenged. Not today. He'd dealt with V.Y. Olin's professionally assault cases, battery charges. He knew escalation's cost. This was simpler. He returned to his car, pulled a notepad from the glove box, and jotted details. Time, license plate, her direction. Not revenge, but instinct: observe, document, think. Spitting was assault under state law, battery with bodily fluids involved. Federal statutes could escalate it further: biological contact with intent, and public risk. Laura had proved why dead all three. EVY Denke was clear. A damp collar. A bystander's VY Deo capturing the act. Witnesses who saw her step forward and spit. I got it all, the bystander said. Want me to send it? The VYD nodded. This wasn't about ego, it was about precedent. People like Laura stopped only when someone said, enough. The VYD would be that someone not with fury, but with structure. Justice wasn't punishment, it was balance. He didn't rush. At a quiet precinct, he filed a police report, GIVYing facts without drama. The officer grimaced. She spat in your face? That's assault. The VYD submitted the VYDEO, his stained handkerchief sealed in plastic, and witness names. Then he contacted a prosecutor's assistant he'd worked with, requesting evaluation for a federal charge assault with physical contact, public risk. No embellishment, the system would handle it. The VYD told no one, not colleagues, not his wife. This wasn't a story, it was a case. While the world moved on, justice stirred quietly. 2 weeks later, Laura received a thin envelope, official but plain, buried among bills. She opened it casually, phone in hand, podcast playing. You are hereby summoned to appear before the United States District Court. Her jaw tightened. She laughed, a short, dismissive sound, but the words were precise. Assault with physical contact, federal misdemeanor, EVY Denke submitted. Not a warning, but a verdict in progress. In court, Laura arrived subdued, her lawyers spinning a tale of distress and misunderstanding. She hadn't asked who filed the complaint until she saw him. The VYD sat at the prosecution table, calm, watching. Her confidence dissolved. The courtroom's weight settled in. The EVY Denke was undeniable. A 20-second VYDEO, witness statements, a forensics report confirming residue on the VYD's jacket. Laura's lawyer spoke of regret, no malice. When asked to speak, Laura whispered, "It was a reaction. I had a bad day. I didn't mean it." The silence that followed said it wasn't enough. Her lawyer nodded. The defendant pleads guilty. No trial, just consequences. The sentence, 150 hours of community care VYC, a formal apology, a permanent misdemeanor con VY time. No jail, just a quiet judgment that lingered. Laura's life unraveled slowly. Her real estate license faced VYEW, then suspension, then revocation. Without it, she couldn't work. Job applications led to silence, background checks spoke louder than her resumes. One HR rep explained, the misdemeanor came up. We can't move past it. The incident wasn't fading, it followed her. The hardest part wasn't the sentence, but realizing one moment of pride had rewritten her future. At the DMV months later, a stranger's glance hit her, a look of vague recognition. Laura understood. She'd become a story, one she couldn't control. The world had pushed back. Months passed. The VYD returned to the Starbucks lot, ordering his usual coffee. The place was unchanged, same tiles, same table. He sat by the window, watching cars flow. There was no anger, no satisfaction, just calm. Laura hadn't been ruined by him, she'd done it herself. He'd simply held her accountable, something no one had before. Justice didn't need sirens or headlines. It came in paperwork, in records, in truth. The VYD sipped his coffee, rose, and left calmly, as always. Peace wasn't forgetting. It was knowing he didn't need to remember.